Today, we are back in the central British Columbia backcountry for day 2 of our overlanding trip, where, yesterday, we made it to the glacier. And today, we're going looking for another one. Our journey begins back at the Riverside campsite before we hit the 4 service roads and quickly gain altitude out of the trees, returning to the Alpine, where it starts to get really rough and puts the Forester to the test. Does the Forester climb all the way to the top, or are we going to have to hitch a ride on the Jeep? Watch and find out. Welcome back and good morning to day 2 of the BC overlanding adventure. So we woke up. If you guys haven't watched the last episode where we went hunting for glacier, Rambo agrees. If you haven't watched last episode, go watch it, because that's where we went hunting for glacier and we eventually found this campsite. So what we're gonna do, as you can tell, it's definitely a little bit chilly. As I said in the last video, it's kind of this mix between, it's not quite fall, it's not quite winter, it's not quite spring. It's just all of the seasons in one day. So as you can tell, it's a little bit chilly in the morning, but I'm sure it's gonna warm up in the day. Anyways, what we're gonna do is we're gonna cook some breakfast, pack up the tent, and then hit the trail and go find some new spots to explore. So see you in a little bit. And there we go. Everyone's packed up. My tent's packed up. I had my sleeping bag and my blanket in there, so it made it a little more difficult to fold it up and zipper it up, but it still obviously packed itself up. And then Austin and Lee are all packed up, so it's time to go hit the trail and look for some more epic views. So see you in a little bit. Back on the FRS, we weaved through the forest as the mountains rose above us. Again, the Subaru was taking charge with the suspension and making it light work. As we started to gain altitude, the forest service road narrowed till it became not much more than a single-lane trail. And while the surface was still like the forest service road, the surroundings were not. We could slowly see the mountains looming ahead of us, revealing today's challenging climb, and beside us, the trees were traded for rock faces and boulders. And soon after that, the surfaces started to change too. No longer was it a sandy trail, but crushed rock, and at points becoming a creek. Nonetheless, we continued to push forwards and up into the valley. Well, we're back on the trail. As you can tell, it's rough again. Well, it's always rough when you're in the backcountry. But what we're doing is we're doing another one of these trails that go up into a different valley, I believe. And we're promised even more epic views. Austin and Lee, as I said, have been here a few times. I think they've been 3 times in the last year when I was in Vancouver. So they know this area very well. And they told me that today's views are going to be even more epic. So we're going to just have to see if we get where we promise. So pretty much it's the same kind of thing, these 4 service roads, which BC does awesome. I'm actually talking to some of the people that follow me and some of the people local in Calgary that come out to BC all the time and do the forest roads. BC does the forest roads amazing. Like, you can go so far into the backcountry and explore so much. You could spend 5 days just in this area exploring all of these back roads, so it's pretty awesome. But that's what we'll be doing, is we'll be going ahead and driving another one of these forest service roads that kind of goes up a different way than we were yesterday. So we will continue along these roads, maybe see if we can find, I think it's a little more technical like it is up at the top as it was before, so we'll probably at least, if not, catch up to you then, but maybe we'll find some other fun stuff before then. So see you guys on the trail.
As we climbed out of the last bit of forest and into the open valley, we could see what laid ahead, underneath the mountains that looked down onto us. Here the trail changed again, going from little rocks to what can only be described as small boulders. And to my surprise, the Forester, while a little rough, bounced over them with no problems. As we continued to move upwards, it continued to change back and forth from small boulders to off-camber loose trails. Well, until we reached the final plateau. Here, what lay ahead was by far the most challenging terrain the Forester has taken on. Not only was it a boulder field with rocks as big as my car, but it just kept going up and up. So, with a little bit of doubt, I started my way up and over the rocks. We slowly bounced our way up, putting the skid plates and everything else under the car to good use. And, well, the mountains still weren't done with us, because now, out of the rocks, we had to climb our way up the shale. Which also happened to be a little cross-axle. Not a good look for the Forester. And to make things worse, the naturally aspirated 2.5 liter was really starting to feel the altitude. So, with our wheels spinning time and time again, we kept attempting to make it up. And with one final push and the throttle to the floor, we climbed our way up and to the final stopping point.
Well, as you can see, I struggled a little bit, but we're calling this the top because it tees off right there, and it's a little sketchy that way. And well, that way goes straight up. I'm pretty sure this is like where it ends for the cars and starts for the ATVs and motorbikes, because it is really sketchy up here, but the Forester still somehow made it. Definitely got a couple new dings on the floor pan and stuff from some of the rocky sections, and then I really had to give it some momentum on the loose sections, but it made it, and it was all worth it. Check out this view. So this is all like, this is pretty cool. It's like, we're in Alpine here. There's snow literally right over there, but the coolest thing is that view. Now that's amazing. That you don't usually expect a Subaru Forester to be up this far. At least a Subaru Forester with no low range. I definitely need low range, but this is probably the most epic view I've ever seen with my car. I've hiked the views like this, but with my car, never made it this far. And look at, like, we've got glacier there. We've got a glacier right beside us, and then we've got another little glacier in there. And then all the way down that valley is where you saw us kind of go through the trees and stuff. So we're in like the middle of nowhere. But what we're going to try to do is, because we can't take our cars up there, we're going to try to just hike to the top and see what we can find, because I didn't want to wonder if it's a valley or what's over there. So we're going to go check it out.
With 100 meters of vertical remaining, and hiking our only method of travel, we started making our way up. And not long after that, we made it to the top, where we found some of the best views to date. Not only could we see the glacier that now sat beside us, but we could see into the valley on the other side that led right to where we came from days ago. And now, reaching the top, it was time to start our way down.
And well, back down we go. So we made it, as I said, as far as we felt comfortable, or my car was able to make it. There looked like some ATV tracks that could have went farther, but we didn't want to push it, and the Forester honestly probably wasn't going to make it unless I really tried hard on it. We're almost at 3,000 meters too, so it's working really hard to just have power. So I feel comfortable saying we made it to as far as we could have in a vehicle. Like, you could have probably pushed a little farther, but we didn't want to. But that was amazing. As you saw, we hiked up to the top. There was no way you'd drive that vehicle up there. There's some maybe motorbike trails or whatever, but that was it. But as you saw, it was an amazing view. You could see into the next valley below, and you can actually see like a ski hill and stuff way in the distance, or kind of see the valley of the ski hill. So it was really cool to see where we were and kind of situate ourselves. We could actually, over the other side, we could see the glacier we came from, so that was all pretty cool. But yeah, now we're making our way down. Thankfully, we have gravity on our side now, so it's not going to be as hard, and the Forester is not going to be struggling as much with power, because it definitely was. But I'll definitely be probably hitting some rocks on the way down. So yeah, we will continue making our way down, and I'll catch up to you once we find something interesting.
Again, with gravity on our side, we slowly made our way through the rock garden. Although, I quickly found out that gravity isn't always your friend, as I bashed in my front skid plate on more than a couple boulders. And after that, it was almost home free. We quickly descended down the mountain face and back into the valley, where, after clearing the last rocky section, we were back on the relatively smooth trail. Here, once again, we could cruise along and enjoy the amazing surroundings without worrying about the underside of the car. And with one final push on the trail, we made it back to the FRS and headed towards camp.
And we were back. You might recognize this place from last video because, well, we came back. We tried to just went past a different campsite and it was already full. There was already people there. So what we did is we just came back to this one because it was empty. And I mean, you can't really go wrong with those views. So let's once again set up camp, get a fire going, and we should be good to go. And with the Forester all set up, it's time to go ahead and make some dinner. While I'm doing that, I'll let you guys go enjoy the view.
Now arriving a little earlier, we could take our time setting up camp and making dinner before enjoying the setting sun behind the mountains. As always, we started the fire as the day turned into night.
And there we go. We are back in the tent for the end of episode 2 of our Central BC overlanding trip. So we got the views that we were promised at the start of the day today. I said this last video, I think, that was probably the most epic place I've taken the Forester. Well, today was the more epic place I've just taken the Forester. We really pushed it hard and it really pulled through. It got places where, as I said, I don't think a lot of people would take their Forester or even think about it, but it did it with only a few, let's say a lot of bashing to the skid plates.
but it made it all the way down and made it back to camp. So this Forester is an awesome, epic overlanding rig. I hope you guys are enjoying this series so far, so we probably will have one more video of exploring this area before we are heading back home. So I hope you're looking forward to it, and that is all for today. So until next episode, peace out and stay humble.